So here we are again. When you last saw me, probably not that long ago, we had actually done this assignment. I went ahead and did a few more. What I'm going to teach you guys now are how to make parallel lines on these shapes. So something that's really cool about this, and I might need my marker. My marker. There it is. To show you guys. Something that's really cool is that you don't have to understand, you don't have to eyeball this or pre-draw this. It's all based on a ruler. And so if you're not that great at art, perspective is really a good friend of yours because you're able to just use a ruler. So you were able to use the ruler to create these lines, right? We don't do perspective without a ruler, okay? Now, the thing that you need to understand is if you're going to make lines going down this direction or this direction, you have to do that parallel to the top side of where you're drawing. So, this is kind of hard for kids to understand. But like if this were a building going backwards or down to the ground, and I wanted to make it look like there were lines on that building, like you see here. I wanted to make windows or I wanted to make lines on the building. I have to run my ruler parallel to the line that's on the top side of where I'm going. So I'll line my ruler up with that pink line, and I'll scoot it down a little bit, and I'll draw a line along the ruler. I'll keep it just as parallel with the pink line, and I'll scoot it down a little bit, and I'll draw a line. I'll scoot it down a little bit, and I'll draw a line. And I'll scoot it down, and I'll draw a line. Scoot it down, draw a line. And then these need to start getting closer together the further away you get. Because things that are further away appear smaller, and things that are smaller look closer together, and it's all this, the way that space works. Okay, so now it looks like there's lines going down the building. If I wanted to do the same thing on this side, I would need to turn my ruler and line it up with that pink line on this side, and then run it down to the first line that I did. Because then if I draw this line, it's going to look like they're connected. Now, they are not going to be the same width. They are not going to be going the same direction, but it's fine because this is about perspective. This is about the way that it's supposed to look. And so we kind of have to trick our brain into understanding the way that it actually works. Pull it down. Look at that. We have to trick our brain. Our brain's going to tell us to do one thing. We're going to say, no, brain, no, 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 no. That's not the way it goes. Okay? Keep going like that. So you're always going to be working parallel. Like even if I was going to draw lines on the center of this, so like say we could see down the center of the building. So then we would see this line going through there. Say we could see through the center of the building. And if I wanted to make lines, I would go parallel to this line. If I wanted to make it look like there were lines going down the building inside the building, like a hollow building, I would go parallel there. And then I would have to do the same thing to connect these lines. I would go parallel here and connect those lines. And now we've got like a hollow looking building. We could shade it in there, make it look kind of like a hollow building. Okay? It's important that you guys understand to follow that rule that if it's whatever side you're drawing these vertical lines. You're drawing vertically up and down your paper. These lines are actually not vertical lines. They're horizontal on the shape, but they're vertical on the paper. If you're drawing vertically on the paper like that, down the object, you have to be parallel to this top. Or if they're the horizontal lines on this side of the paper. So like they're vertical here on the paper, but they're horizontal on the building. So if they're horizontal on the building, that's what I should have said. Excuse me, my brain is not functioning right. I just got back to school from the holidays. So if it's horizontal, meaning side to side on a building, if you're trying to draw a line, this is going side to side on a building, it has to match the top. Or, excuse me, on a shape, it has to match the top. Like if you look in a room, the floor is parallel to the roof, okay? The floor isn't like diagonal to the roof. The floor is parallel to the roof because they're both horizontal in the room. So you have to keep it parallel to the top, if that makes sense. And it has to do that on every single side. You can't just freehand it, okay? Another thing, I'll show you vertical lines on buildings. So that was the horizontal lines on buildings. Let's talk about up and down lines on buildings. If I want this building right here, this triangle building, if I want it to have up and down lines, vertical lines, then I'm going to draw lines going back to my vanishing point. End of story. And they're going to get crowded. Okay? They're going to get, oh, that one didn't work out so well. They're going to get crowded in there, okay? They're going to get tiny, and it's going to get really like a big blobby mess down there, but that's what happens when we look down at something. So if I'm trying to draw vertical lines on these, okay, if I'm doing vertical lines, they have to go to the vanishing point. So horizontal lines match up with the shape. Vertical lines go to the vanishing point. And that's if you're drawing something like this. The next video, we'll talk about drawing something like headed down a road, and you'll see why it's kind of easier to do it that way.